Hello everyone, and welcome to the Get that out of here! Hello everyone, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide. I've had this game on my Steam wishlist since the beginning of fucking time, just waiting for it to go on sale. And finally, after like 3 years of waiting, it's gone on sale, and I fucking bought it. So I'm going to do something a little bit different for this series. I'm not going to be cutting anything at all. There's going to be 0 cuts in this entire video, except for that one right there, because I lost my train of thought. So I'm just going to start off the game, because it's supposed to be an emotional journey, and it's not going to be very funny, but y'all can go on it with me, and we'll learn about the things that we're going to learn about, is what we're going to learn about, okay? That's what's going to happen today. Alright.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
You're fucking welcome.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable.
All right.
And while that game tells a pretty absurd story,
Yes, it
today,
certainly does.
I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
All right.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named
Got it.
Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me.
Came out a very long
I met
time ago.
Coda
I
in
didn't
early
realize.
2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff.
I'm sorry.
And his
I'm sorry
work
for
pointed
that
me
guy.
in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way.
All right.
And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment.
Oh, it's a box.
But what
Oh,
I
it's a lot of
like is that
boxes,
even though he
damn.
starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town,
Yeah.
he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level.
I guess
And
he
of
got bored
course,
of
it
making
destroys the
a regular
illusion that
desert
this
town.
actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a
Yes.
reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person.
A real
And it
person.
kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this?
This
This is what I like about all of Coda's
have
games.
no idea.
I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are
Sorry,
all
that
going
closed
to
the
give
door.
us access to their creator. I want us
Yeah.
to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is.
That's good.
And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Today. All of
So,
us.
it's
Everybody.
2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He
All
doesn't
right, so
put
he's
them
just
onto the
making them for
internet, he
himself.
just
I did that
makes
with a lot of
them
my
and immediately
earliest
abandons
videos
them, and
on
they
YouTube.
sit on his computer forever.
Before I put anything
And I think he really
permanently, I
understood this
made
image
things
of
for almost
himself as a
year and half and
recluse.
just never uploaded
At
anything.
one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder.
You could rename the recycling
This was
bin?
just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped.
Oh.
In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since.
Oh, that's sad.
And that's why I've taken this opportunity to
sad.
gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again.
So you're
And if the
taking
people like
your
you who
friends'
play this also
games-
happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much
Putting
stronger
it-
of a message of encouragement to Coda.
Okay.
So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or
Yes.
if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com.
He put his real fucking
Okay, that's about
email
it for
up there.
introduction.
That is a
Let's take
ballsy
a look
move
at
right
Coda's
there, it
first
is.
proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay. Oh. The first ever real game. Whisper Machine. But yeah, so I'm not going to be talking as much in this one. It's really
This game is
narrative
called
focused.
Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
I can't go on the light path. I'm not going to be talking as much because it's very narrative heavy. Oh, look, I can shoot, but it makes no sound if I shoot, so it doesn't really matter if I shoot. Fucking faithless. Alright. I'm ready to shoot some fucking aliens. Or
Security code
whatever.
breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
Aliens! Dear.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For
Yeah, a
instance,
little bit.
you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Can't you?
But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought
nope.
that actually it
Out of
was
bullets
complete
now.
the way that it is.
Oh.
And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Oh.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh yeah, you can. That's cool. Aw. It's a skybox. It's like an old school skybox. I used to make games back when I was a child.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know.
Okay,
There's
well,
really
this
no
was the
reason
wrong
for
way.
it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Don't do it, mother. Oh. Sure.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting.
Oh.
The game has this
okay.
narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
All right.
Hey, you there, in the engine room.
Hello there.
You could save us all.
Psychic ghost
That
lady.
beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by
This beam?
introducing a great enough heat signature. If you...
Wow.
Your body could stop the beam.
Could it?
It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives,
Wait a minute.
would you do it? Could you give yourself?
You son of a bitch. You're not even gonna try to think about it like an alternative way? Can't we just like throw the gun clip in there? Oh, okay, and I'm dead.
Let me pause here for a second.
Yeah?
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying,
Yes,
is
that is
probably
what
what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level.
Sideways.
But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere.
Oh,
and this
okay.
is what happens instead.
It goes dark. Oh, no, we're replaying it now to see what happens instead. Okay. Play that, like, that ascending music right now. Wow, we
The
are
beam
going up
causes
into
you
the
to start
sky.
floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it.
Yes.
Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system.
Look at all these
Or this floating
stars
could be the
and
afterlife,
stuff.
a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and
How
take a
could
look
I
at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
I could have finished it! I could have finished the labyrinth if I had just had more damn time.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh, okay. The past was behind her. Alright. Okay, because it's still behind her. Oh,
So
but the
it's a
future could
short
not be
and
seen.
relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
Why does the
It is
future
less
keep
advanced
changing?
than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
Yeah, I get
Code
it.
is trying
It's
to
about-
give it a unique
it's-
voice
it's,
rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clear. Wow! Wow, he really wanted to send a message to himself with this game, I guess, because, you know, he wasn't releasing them. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought,
How-
it says what it wants to say,
Yeah,
and then
it's
it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me
Yes.
is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
I feel like I'm in Slenderman. Oh, that's actually the sound effect of walking around Slenderman. You guys remember Slenderman? Maybe I should play Slenderman. I'm entering now. God, I'm not gonna play Slenderman. I have too much self-respect.
And that's
for
it.
Slenderman.
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
All right. Sure, Stanley Parable, dude.
Oftentimes, Coda would put
Nonsense.
bizarre titles like this
Every
one at the
direction.
start of his games.
Wow. Oh,
I wish I'd
building.
known him at the time that
a
he was
ramp.
making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once
Why
he
is
stopped
that?
work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I guess you could have just asked him again. The wind! It's blowing me back!
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl,
Slowing me down.
the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
What if I want to crawl up the stairs? I have the power! Alright, let's go. Sorry, Coda. I'm sure this meant something very deep and important and inspirational to you, but you know. You walk around talking people down from pursuing their hopes and dreams. That's fucked up, man. A game where you collect items, except the game automatically quits when you collect them all. Damn.
A room that's warm
Live
and
on a
nice
boat, taking orders from the
and
captain.
filled with little
The captain
ideas
is
for
always
games.
wrong. I get that. Sharks are trying to eat you. Simultaneously, you are trying to eat the sharks.
Coda would often tell me that he
Read
didn't
an
mind
enemy's
if people
emails
thought of
to
him
learn how
as
to beat
cold
them.
or distant.
Press
He
U
said that
to
he
surrender.
knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person,
Play
but that it takes
as
time
the
to really
camera
see
filming
that.
an advertisement.
It can be
walking
a
around
very
the
slow
set,
climb
filming
to
whatever
get
you
there.
are. A button you press to stop the chaos that doesn't work. Oh. A stranger appears. I was reading these. I was gonna get ideas for making games, and then I was gonna become the next Coda. All right. Is there anything back here? No, there's not. This kind of reminds me of SCP. You guys remember SCP? Containment Breach? God, I remember SCP Containment Breach. That game was fucking...
Well, this is new for Coda.
Thing,
It's
you
an
know?
actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
I bet I gotta hit the thing again and it'll open the door. Oh. Aha!
Don't forget that solution,
I'm a
because we're going to
genius.
see this puzzle again soon. We're going to see it a lot.
Oh, okay. I get it. It's of personal significance, is what you're saying to me. David E. Wren, or whatever your fucking
So that
name
seems
is.
to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough.
Very simple.
Alright, now I'm
Indeed.
going to modify the game again, so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was like, alright, he'll remove the walls. I forgot. There's a lot of shit out there.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
I mean, maybe...
I actually
you
find it
could've
funny that this game comes after the
finessed.
Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea.
helped,
So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a
We came
rich
from over there,
interior.
right?
And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
but they're not all
Either way,
connected with
I think
actual
that the
doors,
point is the
see?
same. Is that
They're
most
just
of the
like-
time, you don't get to know what you're missing. Or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player.
Like, even
So
the
if your
individual
role
areas,
here
I
is
mean, they
not
don't have
to
actual doorways
understand.
connecting them.
Then what is it?
There's walls that block it off. But yes, it's a very interesting thought process. David E. Wren. Probably not his name. You are
Aha.
now exiting.
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and
Rocks.
Puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And
right.
once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Yes, that is what we can understand. Sorry, I was just listening to The Great and Lovely Descent. Wow. By the way, this game is like 2 hours long, so I'm going to break it into two pieces.
Let's talk
and I'll
about
upload the
video
second
game
part
development for a
tomorrow,
second.
just because my internet is trash.
Every video game runs on what's
I
called
would-
an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So
Yes,
in
it
other
is,
words,
exactly.
the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Streetwise Fool. That's a very lovely name of a restaurant.
To make
but yeah,
all of
my
these
internet's too
games,
shit to
Coda
upload
is
them
using an
all at once.
engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Wait a minute. Can I finesse my way over here?
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making.
I tried opening the door.
You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Alright, I get it. He like had to work around the constraints of his time. I get that. That's kind of how it is with all creating of things. You know, you gotta work with the... But yeah, I get it. That's how Source works. Yeah. Isn't Source like still the engine that they run? I fucked up! Oh, no, I did not. Oh, lovely. I was gonna say they run a Counter-Strike on. Right? I don't know. I'm in now I really am feeling like SCP, you know? I'll go up here. A light. Inside of the tunnel. What could it mean? He said aloud. A prison cell. I will enter you prison cell.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Damn.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Maybe I want to stay in here for an hour. No, I'm kidding. I would never. Let us... Oh.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable. Whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible?
Yeah, like at least for yourself.
So we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games,
I don't know why I keep stopping.
each of which was
like,
just an empty box that you walked around in, and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
Yeah?
There wasn't.
Maybe the whole thing was the gag, you know? This guy was a fucking god-tier troll. Yeah, I keep thinking that walking is gonna make him say more dialogue. It probably won't, but you know, just in case.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Alright, let's do this. Let's redo this. You guys remember that bit? The thing that
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But
maybe he just
I promise
likes it.
I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I remember back when I made levels in this, there was this multiplayer game called Cube 2, and I used to make levels in it. And I was really good at it, actually. I got on, like, some, blogs about levels in the game. But I remember I used to do a lot of dumb shit like that. Like, I'd always put a fucking...
Here, Coda begins
rolling
using
ball
a kind of
into
dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's
unnecessary,
chat
kind of like-
capabilities. Use the
Anyways.
buttons on your gamepad to respond.
There was an enormous prison. I was in there for hours. But yeah, you know, maybe you just enjoyed it. That's the world above. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes. Yes, and it was... There's so many switches. No, you don't want to go over there, man. It's intense over there. Oh, you need to get there. Wow! The most important thing in the world? Okay. I will tell you, but you're not gonna like it. Because there's no way... Oh, okay. I'm just gonna walk away now. I guess fuck you and your dreams. Jeez. Oh. Hello again. I'm sorry about what I just said. Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yeah. You wanna know how to solve it? No. We actually find the blank space between the doors far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Yes. There was smoke in it, I believe. Don't think too hard about it. Okay. Oh, okay. Again? Thank you. Very interesting. I guess that's what he focused on. He liked tight spaces is what he liked.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Alright. Here we go. Final floor of the level. It's the lamp from the
It's a lamp
beginning
post.
screen.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
Alright.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long.
I guess I agree
Now
with that,
he wants
you know?
something to hold
Sorry,
on
keep
to.
doing that.
He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination.
Yeah.
Which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Alright, so it's like this is what he puts at the end of every game to signal, you know, you did it. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. Literally. Where are we now? A game connected to the world. As you walk around, you can leave notes. Wow. All notes you see are left by other players. Okay. Let's read. Nice room. Not. Damn, random note bubble. You really fucking owned him
So
there,
first
you
off,
did.
I'm sure you can deduce this, but
How do you
this
beat this
game is
game?
not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written
No point in
by
this, yeah.
Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento,
Thursday,
where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like,
Goddamn.
I have to be friends with this person.
A lot of stuff in here.
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention.
Yeah, a little bit. Hello!
I was
No
over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious
It's a
about
reasonable
it
thing to
and
think.
very patient with me. And I cooled off
So much
eventually.
wrong.
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Why? Why would
Either
you say
way,
that to me?
to me
In a
they
world
convey a
full
sense
of
of
notes,
loneliness.
One man.
I see this
them all.
person who's
This
filled
summer,
with thoughts
you will
and
believe blue
feelings
speech
and
bubbles
beliefs
can talk.
and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard.
My fucking cat outside? My fucking cat's outside. Completely unedited, guys. There will be 0 edits in this entire playthrough. I'm sorry.
voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Yes. Voices in a game. Sorry, my cat got locked in a closet somehow.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt,
I
that
can
we
assure
get to
you,
know him
guarantee
better
there
and
is
actually
an
kind
acorn
of connect
somewhere
with him.
here in this place.
And I
the
have to be honest
sailors
with
are
you,
looking for
this
it.
idea is really seductive to me.
We
I
must
could just
save the acorn!
Play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much. Is because it
Go to
felt
the
like they
frickin'
let me
bathroom.
have that
Go to
connection.
The freaking bathroom, man.
I felt as
Don't
though
say
he
freaking
was
the third
inviting
time on
me
my server.
personally
You have 3
into
strikes,
his
man.
world. And then I feel less
Christian
lonely too.
Minecraft server. I get it. So you connected with this guy's, you know, his games. A free T-shirt. Need other side door. Why are you so? Makes game includes door. Cannot open door. Thanks. Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. How do I open this door? No, I just go down here. What's this? Someday I will meet the person who made this. What will you tell them? What will you tell them? Tell him. New room! Yes, and it's a big painting. I'm sure that means something. What's this say? And suddenly everyone's a poet when they're leaving notes, is what it said. Turn back. Proceeding further will only make you miserable. Damn. I wonder if that was actually not a note from Coda, and was actually a note from David E. Wren. Whatever his actual name is. I cannot remember it at all, actually. Something. Is this a note? Is this a note? Don't listen to the other notes. Damn, Note. Why? What'd they say to you? Oh, goddamn, Note. They said some shit. I'm not safe. Oh, man. I'm so sorry, Note. But the other Note told me not to trust you, so I'm just gonna walk away. That's what I'm gonna do. Fuck you, Note. What do you say? Well done, all of you. Aw, yeah. You got to see the painting. Oh, we all die someday. Damn. Cabbage shapes our nation. It's true. From up here, it just looks like dots. It's beautiful. What do you have to say? Things about how things look messy from up close and perfect from far away. Oh yeah! It actually does look a lot better when you're like standing back here than if you get way too close to it, you know, because it all kind of works together. Brilliant insight there, Note Bubble. Brilliant insight. I'm glad I read you, Note Bubble. The other Note Bubbles could suck an egg. Well, I'm here now. We're all here now. And there must be a reason for it all. His terrible secret, which was kept well. I beat the game. This man beat the game. Now he's back to tell us more.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again.
Don't want to feel
And
judged.
here,
Poor guy.
I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means.
Okay.
Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Yes. I wish there were notes in the real world. Okay. You mean like people wrote their thoughts? Because there are. It's called blogs. Welcome to the Become One with the Spiraling Nonsense. I shall become one with it. Downward.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult,
Yeah.
Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution,
Almost the end?
he understands exactly how it works,
Yes.
and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
He doesn't understand how it works anymore! Oh my god, I've literally been here for an hour. What the fuck do I do? Ow! This doesn't make any sense. The second floor won't open.
And because there's this dark area between the doors,
Developers,
a space
answer,
between
please.
spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger
Yeah, it's not
picture.
so bad here. I get it. This was his thinking space, you know? He liked it. It calmed him down, is what it did. Oh, cameras. Thing. How do you leave notes? Well, I think you figured it out, buddy. Oh, no, they're typewriters. Okay. They're all writing nothing. Hammering away. Are you there? Please, say something. It can be anything. Just talk to me. Why won't you talk to me? Speak. Speak. Man. Damn, I guess he really struggled with his, communicating with people.